Hello everyone, Ginger here. Welcome back to another pastel video. As you can see, I've been doing a lot of sketches on my coastal journeys at the moment, and this is one of the latest ones. There's a few more that you will see as we go through, but this is what we're going to be working on today, is a bigger version of this. This is a rocky outcropping in the port of Port Patrick. That sounds like a mouthful. How about we just say in Port Patrick? Which is quite it's pretty in its own way, but it has such a gorgeous coastline and tons of seabird life, so it's great for that if you like your birds. So this is what we're going to be working on. I did a few initial sketches, kind of details, and then something a little bit bigger with some colours, just to kind of get an idea of what direction I was heading in. So we will start laying down probably charcoal, because I want to get a really good dark underpainting, because it's such a gorgeously craggy outcropping. It's kind of pointing up to the sky, but also kind of pointing out to sea. And then with the two seagulls that were perched on top, it just caught my attention. I thought that's really pretty. So, see straight away, I've made the paper dirty from putting the sketchbook on it. Big charcoal. I want to get some really good marks in. Let's see. Bear in mind how high I want this. So that's the highest point, that's the other point, which means that this needs to actually come down a wee bit to here. It doesn't matter too much because I will be adding water. So realistically, I'm just looking for where the dark bits are, which probably seems a bit strange because there's no detail in that. There's just blocks of black, but that's fine. I like how it kind of sweeps down as well. And I haven't put the second outcropping in, which is behind and lower down, because this is kind of sticking out the hill. I just didn't feel like it really added anything to the picture. The main focal point is this rocky stack point thing, and it's kind of like, no, we don't need the extra. And whilst it is cooler and paler because it's more distant, it would still just draw too much attraction away from the main point. Just kind of not what you want. So there is charcoal. Now I've got messy fingers. Now what did I do with the cloth? This is the problem with it. I throw the cloth down and then I forget where I've put it. Here, cloth, 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 there you are. Right. Let's see what we can do with some water, shall we? In fact, actually, I've got a flat brush. This one, which is one of my flat brushes. But actually, I want a pointy brush. I'm very technical with my terms. Right, I'm back. I have a round brush. I'm just going to liberally soak. This is one of my synthetics that I use for my gouache, so it holds a fair bit of water. So let's see. This kind of comes around like that. I like this little bit here. This kind of sticks in like a poke in the ribs. Now where this is here, there's some bits like this. It's going to come up. Thing is, some of this is light, and some of although it's on the shadow side, it is picking up highlights. So you come down there. This isn't exact for two reasons. The first one being I don't like being exact, and the second one is, are those flowers on the rocks? Possibly. Is that my eyesight can't really do exact, so we're going to go with what we feel. And that's kind of the important thing about this particularly, is that this is so much about how it makes you feel. It's such a raw shape, and that's what's so cool about it. So I'm just making sure that here is I want really dark and wetting but not moving around too much. Let's just add some water. I mean, admittedly, it's all grey because it's rock, but we will be adding a fair bit of white. Like around that bit. This little sticky out bit here. This is all about just keeping it loose, having fun, seeing what we get. Kind of like that. I'm just picking up some from the darker side and then allowing my brush to kind of wander roughly where I see darker cuts in the rock. Probably a technical term for the way this rock is cracked all over the place. If you know what it is, let me know. I'd love to sound professional. I'm also got to be mindful of the fact that there's like different sections to the rock. All right. Shall we leave that for the minute? I think what I want to do, I've got the blue green here somewhere. Which one's this? Haze blue, yeah, there. Just want to see what we get. Obviously, bear in mind it's super granulating, so. But I just like the colour. Quite a stormy colour. And I know that obviously in the reference picture, the sea is a lot more green. But that's fine. Oh, cat hair. That was always going to happen. Do you want it slightly darker at the bottom? I'll just add a little bit more. And what we're doing at the top. That was a little bit darker than I wanted it, wasn't it? Let's add some more water to that before it gets too far. That's better down here. And dark. Yeah, I think I'll add a little bit more to the bottom. I just love the colour. Right, that's a bit better. Now we've got something to really work from, a nice ground. So we need to let that dry before we start continuing on. So we will come back to that once that's dry. Right, so for some reason the camera stopped recording, so I don't know how much I've lost, but probably most of the coloured bit. So I've got most of the greens and browns on. Hopefully you guys can see that. Not really sure how in focus this camera is at the moment. No, better? Not better? Kind of better, right. So obviously I've put all this colour down and it is super raw and in your face and not what we want. So classic, I've got my tissue paper back out because you know how we like that. I'm just going to soak it and then dabbing and then turn it. I don't want to move too much of the colour around, if you know what I mean, but I do want to pick up as much of the colour as possible. and just lift some of it off, make it a bit more subtle and ingrained. I also don't want it going too far onto the water. How are we doing? Right, let's let that dry and we'll see what that comes back with. Right, this is now pretty much dry. Yeah, it's pretty much dry. So you can see we've taken that down, we've kind of merged it in with the rest of the colours, and it's just spread everywhere. So, but that's kind of what I was looking for, because we can work more on top of that. So what I really want to get down is some more of our darks. And I also want to be really careful about how I'm going to wear. So I'm going to let this do most of the work as we come down. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? It's such a lovely dark. And it kind of cuts here and then comes around and down, and cuts in and down. And we're just following the original contours we've already put in, so we know roughly where we're going. Down and down. We know that down here is where we then start stepping up. And we've got this sort of darker patch here. And this is kind of why I put the tinted charcoal down first, because it gives me a really good base to work on. But when I want my really darks, I can put that over the top, but I've still got kind of roughly where the initial charcoal was, and that initial charcoal is giving me all this texture and base to work from. And look at how black that is. So you can see how different this is now looking as we kind of work towards this shaping. Got this lovely shape here, where it splits. You just kind of join that bit, but I don't really want to push too hard on where that's going. So we'll work on this. And down we go to there. Now this does come over into this section, so we're gonna do that. You see how dark that is compared to everything else on the page? It is just so, so dark. And the same with this. This is really dark, but it kind of peters out, so I'm going to do that bit and then do this and bring this out. So the nice thing about charcoal is it spreads really nicely. Like that. Now, back to this bit. So this has got a nice kind of dark triangle here, which kind of comes up and joins everything that's going on up here. And down and round. I do want to do this because it's distracting me. Yeah, I'd wondered if I'd have to take this out a wee bit more. It's not quite wide enough. And this does kind of belly out further down, so actually bring that down and make it super dark. Like that. Look at that. And of course we've got this section here. It is kind of darker at the bottom. As this comes down. Got this shape here, and a rounded bit sticking in there. We know this is the bottom. We just want to make sure we get this in. Like that. Look how dark that is. Isn't that gorgeous? That's what I mean when I say this just changes everything because of how dark it is. I'm going to catch this little craggy bit here. And of course we've got this big dark bit. I'm going to start with the biggest bit I want to put here. And then this coming down is quite a strong line as it comes down. It kind of comes that way. Kind of sticks out a wee bit. Got this bit down here, like a little curve, and it comes along, and you've got this kind of hole there. Call it a hole, don't really know what to call it. Where this is, we've got this kind of craggly line, and it kind of comes down and then it kind of comes back on itself. So it's just lines, lots and lots of lines. But that's how we want it. So we've got this line here, and it comes up and it forms part of the shadow for this bit here, along with this darker bit here. Like that. I also have this dark bit here, which is on this bit that just seems to jut out. Just trying to make sure we can get all these different shapes in. You should be able to start to see all the different shapes that we've actually got here. There's loads of this white speckling. Now I've got, what have I got? Oh, I've got the gesso. I've got gesso here. So what I might do is I might do some little white specks as well. That comes that way. That comes this way. Kind of like that. Right, enough playing with the black for the minute. I'm going to add a little bit of water to some of it, just where I want to soften edges out. Or not, because I'll just smack the paintbrush onto the page. Remove some of the dust. The nice thing about this is it picks up a lot of the charcoal, so I can then add extra depth in where I want it. And start giving this a bit more shape. Because parts of this rock, I mean, they're kind of pointing, and you can see that in where they are. And also by softening the edges, you create just a few subtleties. You can also straighten up edges that you're not 100% happy with. I mean, it is a coarse paper, so it does add texture, but that's how you end up with problems. So it's nice sometimes to be able to bring some of the edges back without having to really work too hard to do so. Because I could get pastel pencil out and you know, solve a few of that problems, but honestly, you wouldn't get the same depth or anything else for that matter. And the paintbrush allows me to sharpen up the edges without having to really use a very sharp pencil and go over the line a lot to try and create a more straight defined line, which I do want in some ways and also don't in others. kind of I like the shape of that, but this is annoying me because it's this needs to be wider. That's what it is. Thinking, oh, he's bugging me about this. I know, it just needs to be wider. Look at that. Looking a lot better already. Now, because I want some white gesso. I also want to be really careful about where I'm splatting it. So, yeah. Got some gesso, my white. I'm going to get some onto the paintbrush I've got. This is just the one I tend to like using. It's just a cheap one from the local homeware store. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm going to shake quite a bit of paint water off first. Oh, that's kind of working. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of worked. Right, okay. I'm gonna let that dry. I don't know how white it's going to dry, where I've added, there's a lot of water on the bristles. So we will have to wait and see. I've just noticed I've splattered it everywhere. It's just not a surprise. I've got this though. What's this? It's just water at the moment. We'll just take it all. Sideways like that. And that way doesn't matter. There we go. Right, I need that to dry before I do anything else. So let's let that dry and come back to it. Right, everything's dry. I've had some lunch, which helps. The tablet has locked itself while I've been away. So, right, so this is where we're at. I did a few more splatters, so there's a few more marks here and there. Just stuff that's just there to have created interest. Don't think I've got any more. No, brush is now dry. So we're back to here, where we've got a lot of our shapes, we've got lots of our different colours, we've got our tones. So now I just want to kind of mooch in and just tighten up some areas I really want to focus on, both with the black, which I'll use probably the charcoal, and also with some white pastel. But there are some areas of green that I feel like I've kind of lost too much of and that I'd quite like to bring back. For example, we've got this gorgeous triangle here and that's kind of disappeared. I do want to bring that back, use our little chip to kind of just bring that back like that. And there's this little bit there. You see, and it's this whole part of this process where I'm taking away and I'm bringing back and I'm taking away and I'm bringing back, and that is what gives us all this gorgeous texture and all this work into what we're looking at. You see, just adding little bits where I know I'm kind of short. See with here. Just curve that round a wee bit. And then here, we've got this bit, but we're kind of lost. God, am I going to be able to get this in here? I don't know if I'll be able to get this in here. Kind of. that bit there. Then we've got this bit comes over, but it's green on one side and not the other. And then this kind of comes in here, but it's darker. So we'll add some of this, some of my dark green, just so we can bring some of the green. I don't want to lose too much of the green, because the green's really important to kind of what we're doing. Because there's whole swathes of it all over the place. So that makes it really important. And this has got quite a light bit. See, the other colour that's a lot on here, a lot even. Let's see if I can find something that's close to it. It's kind of like a pale goldy colour, because the rocks aren't quite grey. They've got this kind of pale beige to them. So I'm just going to put this on this end and just kind of carve into that there. And that just gives us these two straight bits. And the same here, really. I'll do this, but I really want the grey for this bit, I think. That's fine with that bit there. We've got this here. It's like lots of little bits here and there. And it's just trying to work out which bits are visually actually important. Because there is a lot in this. You could sit here and look at this picture forever, and there's still a lot to see. But the important thing, and the thing we're kind of looking for the most, is shapes and also interest. No point having something that's boring. This kind of dips down there like that. So I'm just looking, where do I want to put this? I think we probably want to bring the brown back in there. So with this here, bring that brown back. It's got these weird lines. I'm going to bring the creator in as well. So, got this nice line here, and then where it comes up. Just throw my charcoal pencil on the floor. Probably should have used that actually. Let's see. Just be careful where I'm going with these sorts of things. So this cuts in under there like that, and then there's like this little one there. Even the creator is darker than the bit I've just done, which is interesting. Well, it's not, I kind of already knew that, but yeah, it makes it harder to work when you know this isn't going to be as dark as you kind of want it. And the same, I've lost this bit here, so I'm just going to bring it in. You can see the shapes if you look. See, I've got this weird line here, this shape here, which matches what's on there, and then it comes around like that, and that is exactly what we've got. And you look at this kind of shapes that I've actually already got painted in, and that kind of helps. Still not 100% happy with this rock. It's looking a little better now I've added those lines in. What I don't want to do is just sit here and create outlines, because that is not what this is about. I know I did this bit really low down when I shouldn't. Oh wait, no, that's the other one. So this was the other one here. So we bring that down, round. Kind of does that in a really weird way. Spreads its legs right at the bottom. Don't read any meaning into that. Right, now let's, yeah, so we're starting to get some shape. Like that. We're getting there. So this was the bit that comes down this crack here. Crevice, I suppose actually it's too big to be a crevice. Around where the distance between the photographer and the actual rock means that probably a bit more going on there than you can see, but it's probably quite a distance. Right, starting to get some different shapes in. I'm also kind of following where I've put these marks as well. Help give me kind of a guide. Kind of like that. It comes out and down like that. Right, this is one of our big cracks here. I pulled it in a wee bit from where it should be, but I wanted to give myself a bit more room to manoeuvre with the rocks on this side. So yes, I did take liberties, but that's kind of how artists work. And don't get me wrong, there are some really perfectly great realism artists out there who paint the most amazing things. But at the same time, I'm like, well, and I mean no offense, so please don't take offense, all you keyboard warriors out there, but why would I draw something in a realistic style, hyperrealism, when I could get the same effect by photographing it? The whole point of me painting it is so that I can capture things that effectively the camera can't. I can put emotion into my work. I can capture light and sound, which is quite fun. I can capture mood and atmosphere. I can't really do that with a photograph. I mean, you can capture lighting and you can allow that lighting to give a piece mood, which is fine, but I don't know. You kind of get to the point where you're like, You know, hyperrealism is a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. Some of these artists working on hyperrealistic paintings, and also those that do hyperrealistic portraiture, specifically those doing animals, like some of the really well-paid horse artists. You know, the hours that goes into that work, it is backbreaking. You know, I have every level of respect for what they do. Because, to be honest, you know, I was not that far off. If you've seen my picture of me in the wildcat painting, you'll know that I have done some realistic wildlife portraiture, but now that I've lost a significant chunk of my eyesight, it's not really possible anymore. So I just have to kind of go with it. This side's annoying me, so I'm gonna take some liberties and kind of add some interesting rocky formations with the charcoal pencil. And yes, this is not a pastel pencil, this is a charcoal pencil. I mean, I could have used a pastel pencil, wouldn't have really made much difference to me, but at the same time, this is what I had to hand, and as I'm working in a lot of charcoal anyway, it just seemed right to say, okay, well, we'll use the charcoal pencil. I know I get distracted really easily with what I'm doing and I stop talking, and then suddenly I go, oh god, I was talking, wasn't I? I must leave you guys hanging in suspense all the time, I do apologise. It's not intentional. I just get so easily distracted by what I'm doing. Now, there was supposed to be a dark section down here. It's kind of disappeared in amongst everything else. So like that. Right, I think I don't want to do more. Oh, it's annoying me. I look at this and I'm like, oh. Just bring a little bit of that green back in. The happy green. In other words, the light green. Or the vibrant green, depending on how you want to call it. It's quite vibrant, as all things go. I've kind of lost a lot of the green up here. It'd be nice just to put a lot of that back in. And more like that. But I still want some more of this chip of green in. That's better, right. Okay. Now, this is great. This is one of my greys, isn't it? Yes, it is a lovely pinky grey. Kind of what I wanted. one of those colours I was looking for earlier. I thought I'll find it eventually. I did. That is kind of what I wanted. Right. Just dropping everything today. Right. Stop playing with this because there is one thing we need, and that is to draw these seagulls in. Right. This is the hard bit because I'm drawing tiny birds, which, I hate to say it, not my favourite thing in the world to do. Can I? Yeah, I'm going to zoom in so I can see them a bit better. Hello, you two. Right. So we got... I'm only really making marks as to where he is, but I kind of feel like I can't really do this painting without them. They're kind of key. I know in some of my other paintings I've looked at things and gone, oh no, I can take that out. But these two are actually quite an integral part of the story of this stack, and that's why sometimes when you look at things like this, you've got to look at all the characters of this particular play to decide whether or not they are needed. In this case, yes, they are. So there's one. Not quite the right shape, but close enough for what I need anyway. And his brother, who stood on the other one, a little bit further away. So I want to do him a little smaller. That's the first part of the tail, and then it comes... It's kind of hunched up really, isn't he? You kind of look at him. You can definitely tell they're seagulls though. Now the question is, what do I do with them? Because making them white is going to be a bit of a pain. I've got the charcoal down, I've got the blue white. And they've got really distinctive yellow beaks, so it'd be nice to get that in. And actually, let's use the creators to get how black that tail is. I'm assuming these are, well, I know black-headed gulls. Do you get black-tailed gulls? Black-tipped gulls, maybe? I don't know is the answer. Have I got a white? I'm pretty sure I had a white in here. Now I don't know where it's gone. Not pink. It's not particularly useful. Is it? I've got a white pencil. I don't think that's going to help either. No. I could do with kind of... That'll do. Right, let's sign this off. Now, let's get to the tape. Make sure we've got all the dust off. Oh, the seagulls are annoying me. Is this the same white? Yeah, that's the same white. I got a white in here, I can borrow it for a minute. Yeah, this one. Just feel it needs to be like better. Ooh, but while I'm here, the same goes on this rock actually. I think it's actually where the seagulls poop an awful lot. But yeah, okay, right. Let's get the heat gun out. We'll get the tape off. There's a lot of tape on this because this one I'm hoping is going to an exhibition. So let's get this off and see what happens and see how she looks. Yeah, so I've double taped this. So we'll see how much of this we can get off safely. Hopefully all of it. Hopefully you guys can still see. I keep moving the board, which doesn't help, does it? No. I actually warm my fingers up as well. Reduce snow, so we shall see. Right, this one is taped under. Yeah. Don't burn the paper, so there we go. It's actually coming up while I'm trying to undo it. There's one. This is the ASMR part. I love this bit. Revealing the nice clean white underneath. Right. Oh, let's do top first. I always do that. I always do bottom first and then wonder why I struggle. I'm like, nope, try doing top first. And this one. Come on. Oh, you're going to take the corner piece as well. Well, that's going to give me some fun. Okay. Right. 2 more small bits. Oh, what is it with corners today? I don't normally want to come off. I have to order some more masking tape as well. Both bottom corners going to come off now. What are you gonna? Oh, my fingers are stuck together. No, it's wrapped around my finger. Ah! Oh, honest to God, sometimes. Right. I've unstuck myself. In the process, I have stuck everything else. Right, let's take the tape off all corners. There we go. Right, so there we have it. Hopefully you guys can see that. And there is my latest piece. 2 seagulls on a promontory of rock at Port Patrick on a somewhat choppy, cloudy day. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed that, and hopefully you will join me all for another pastel video soon. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions at all about this technique, please leave them down below and I will get back to you. I love answering all your questions, so ask me anything. Or maybe not anything, but my favourite biscuits are gluten-free, Tesco own brand, free from Oreos, in case anybody wants to send me some. Love you all, bye!